Welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. Now, what if the United States invaded Greenland? It's a hypothetical question, but one that sparked real unease among Arctic diplomats since Donald Trump's 2019 suggestion. Yeah, 2019, the first time that Donald Trump made a remark around Greenland, suggesting at the time that he wanted to acquire the island one way or another. And now in Donald Trump's second term, he has certainly ramped up that rhetoric. The scenario raises serious questions about NATO's unity, international law, and the rights of Greenland's population. Let's go to Greenland right now, where we find Kuno Fencker. He's a politician in Greenland. Mr. Fencker, welcome to the program.
Thank you for the invite.
It's great to talk to you, and I have much interest in this subject. But first things first, I do want to know about my curiosity starts with how life is in Greenland. Tell our listeners that probably have a lot of questions about Greenland. What should they know about your territory?
Well, it's the largest island in the world. It's a very big island, actually. So it's approximately 3,000 kilometers long. So and approximately 1,000 kilometers wide. So it's very vastly populated, so we are only around 58,000 people living here, mostly Inuit Greenlanders and a lot of course, Danish, let's say, immigrants and foreign workers from the Philippines and Thailand, for example. And it's mainly the coastlines that are ice-free in the summer. And we have a very big inland ice that is actually melting quite fast. And also the sea routes in the north are also, decreasing year by year. So possibilities are opening up here in Greenland. Right now, it's very nice weather, spring. The sun is up for more than 8 hours, I think, every day. So it's very nice weather.
Well, of course, and you bring up all the reasons why there's so much interest surrounding Greenland right there. I just want to ask you about, what is the relationship between Greenland and Denmark right now? And I'll just say, from the Canadian perspective, all of our provinces and territories have lots of complaints about the federal government, right, in this country. So I'd just love to know, what about the concerns, complaints that you have? Let's leave Trump out of the equation. What about the qualms you may have with how you're treated by Denmark already?
Well, I think the situation right now is much better than it has been before. And we have a long history with Denmark, over 300 years of colonization. We are basically still a de facto colony since we are under the Danish realm, which is a one unity state. And the problem is that Denmark didn't abide to the decolonization processes the UN actually made in the 50s and 60s. And they broke all those resolutions, and right now we are de facto annexed by Denmark in 1953 when they integrated us without a referendum. So we also have a lot of atrocities that has been going on in Greenland in regards to the Genocide Convention. You can look at that Genocide Convention and you can actually see maybe Denmark tried to commit genocide in Greenland, but Inuit are rising up again, and our identity and our heritage is, very important here in Greenland. Even though many of us are of mixed heritage, if you can say that, we all feel Inuit and Greenlanders. And of course, many people have lived here, even though they are different ethnicity. They are all Greenlanders, but it's about how long you have lived here, if you live the culture, if you speak the language, and if you have a connection to the island of Greenland, then you are a Greenlander.
And as I hear you speak, I know there's listeners that are hearing parallels between the situation in Greenland and the situation with Indigenous communities in this country, in Canada. So it's fascinating that you bring that up. Can I ask you, sometimes when Donald Trump, and let's get into the Donald Trump, the threats and the innuendo, sometimes when he does that, we've seen it in this country, he's made some threats about our border and how we take certain things seriously, and Canada has had to respond. Do you feel that Donald Trump making these threats now makes Denmark take Greenland more seriously and listen to your concerns in a way that
will not say that Donald Trump is threatening Greenland, Denmark, or NATO. It's just acting proactive in regards to in Greenland, we have the right to external self-determination, which means we can become a sovereign state because we are a former colony and we have a self-rule act that gives us, as a people, the right to external self-determination, contrary to indigenous people who don't legally have the right to becoming a sovereign state. But Greenland has the right, and we are, of course, striving for, let's say, independence, even though it's utopia to think that we can be fully independent in regards to defense, security, and also economy at the moment. The only thing that we want is we want to own our own country, which means we will be a sovereign state. But the whole law we have is based upon negotiation, that it has to be a negotiated agreement that we initially start up with Denmark. But Denmark always interprets it as we want to secede from Denmark. And that's not right. It's actually the opposite. Denmark is threatening by seceding Greenland. And they are threatening Greenland by taking away what we call a subsidy every year we get from Denmark, which is about 800 million US dollars. And the Danish military has a presence in Greenland. They have the obligation to defend the sovereignty of Greenland. But when we are asking for like independence, they are threatening us by we will leave Greenland militarily. When they do that, it will create a military defense vacuum in Greenland, which is why the United States can't accept that. Of course, they will not allow foreign entities like China, Russia to take over Greenland. So let's say if it's a threat, I don't see it as a threat, but it's like he said that he will not rule out using military force. That just means if Denmark secedes from Greenland and takes action of the threats they do to Greenland by leaving Greenland, of course, the United States has to intervene because of what you call the Monroe Doctrine. The United States can't accept another European colonial power back in the days, or Russia or China to take over the island.
So let me ask you this, because in Canada here, when Donald Trump has said things like, oh, we're going to make it the 51st state, right? There's a resounding response from Canadians, which is get lost, basically, in a nutshell. When Donald Trump and his administration, J.D. Vance, the vice president, comes to Greenland kind of thing, when they talk in the way they talk, whether it's not a threat or not, just their talk, what's the resounding response from people in Greenland?
I think, of course, it's very negative, the resounding response. It has never been negative from my side. I will not get offended by the remarks the U.S. administration is coming with, no matter which country it's coming from. I will always look at it pragmatically, diplomatically, and see if what is it that their interest is, and how can we solve it diplomatically. And right now, I see that there is an urgency in regards to improving the defense security area in Greenland, because Denmark actually neglected this area for too long, and that's absolutely right, in my opinion. So Denmark and Greenland also has to up the ante in regards to the cooperation we have. Denmark basically, in my opinion, legally have a questionable territorial integrity in Greenland because they annexed us in 1953. So what we need to do is that we have to activate our right to external self-determination, start the negotiations with Denmark, and make eventually a union or free association agreement with Denmark. But also when Greenland wants to do things by itself, and we know that there's a defense agreement from 1951 with the United States and Denmark, which they basically did without the informing the Inuit Greenlandic people. We have to make a new bilateral agreement, Greenland, United States, in regards to how do you defend this island, what kind of possibilities will you get. Everything is a negotiation. So it's like what can Greenland get out of it, and what can the United States get out of it? If we create a union with Denmark, it has to be in cooperation with Denmark that we make these bilateral or trilateral agreements.
Mr. Fencker, listen, this has been fascinating. I think I could talk to you a lot longer on this subject. Unfortunately, we're out of time here in the radio world. I want to thank you for coming on this morning. Really fascinating. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you.
That's Kuno Fencker.
Anytime.
He's a politician in Greenland. Yes, indeed. Anytime on that subject matter.